discrepancy on the budget, between the cap on that building, where they were $2,000 lower than we were, that's the $2,000. I knew they had done that.
When was this quote taken?
Oh, they've
couple
got,
months ago.
yeah, a couple of months, fairly recent, yeah. I would say October, probably at the latest. Town Building Capital Reserve Fund, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $2,800 for the replacement of the front entrance door to the fire station, and to authorize the withdrawal of $2,800 from the Town Building Capital Reserve Fund to offset this expense. No amount to be raised from taxation.
I'll make a motion as written.
Second.
And this is literally the front door. It's not the big garage bay doors, but it's the way the building was built and the way it was installed in the concrete, and it's become a bit of a problem. Cemetery maintenance and trust and perpetual care, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,200 to be placed in the following accounts, with said funds to come from unassigned fund balance. No amount to be raised from taxation. Cemetery maintenance expendable trust fund, is it supposed to be a negative $400?
No, it's just,
The hyphen.
That's a hyphen.
yes. I can certainly change it if you like.
Well, you might want to, you're gonna wind up with that question at town meeting.
From my last year's template, which apparently had a lot of problems.
Get rid of both hyphens
Yeah.
on the 800.
Yeah, the 800 too. Cemetery perpetual trust care trust funds, $800.
I'll make a motion as amended, or with the
As-
hyphens removed,
As edited.
as edited.
The second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, adopt, and this is important, adopt/modify all veterans tax credit. Shall the town of Troy vote to adopt the provisions of RSA 72:28B, all veterans tax credit? If adopted, the credit will be available to any resident or the spouse or surviving spouse of any resident who, 1, served not less than 90 days on active service in the armed forces of the United States and was honorably discharged. You have honorable discharge, it's
I just-
honorably.
yeah.
Discharge. You can change that too. Or an officer, honorably discharged, honorably separated from services. A resident who served not less than 90 days active duty in the armed forces of the United States who's honorably discharged, or an officer. Did they separate up officers
They
from?
did.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, that's how they worded it.
okay. Okay, honorably separated from services and is not eligible for or receiving a credit under RSA 72:28 or RSA 72:35. If adopted, the credit grant will be $500, increased from the previously voted amount of $250 by the town of Troy.
I'm abstaining.
Yeah, so I'll make the motion
As
to
edited.
adopt it. Are you agreeable to that?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
No, you're abstaining.
My
We
bad.
have 2 for it and 1 abstention. Oh, I don't think you really need to abstain, Curtis. I don't think you're gonna sell your soul for $500, but,
Well, it's only $250.
That's a large.
I already get $250, but
no.
that's why I'm abstaining.
Yep.
Direct benefit.
Nice to know that you did the honorable thing. You could be an officer. April 19th, Article 19, adopt RSA 79E. Shall the town vote to adopt the provisions of RSA 79E, Community Revitalization Tax Relief Incentive?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to have a hearing on that, so that everybody knows what it is.
Same with
And-
town admin as well.
Huh?
Same with town admin, do we have to have a hearing on that?
You have to have a hearing on that too. And I'm okay with having, so that's a question for, let's vote on this. Are we all okay with this? Approved? Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Excuse me.
And let's just finish this and we'll talk about having hearings. Article 20, Capital Improvements Program, to see if the town will vote to rescind authorizations to prepare a capital improvements program through its planning board, Article 27 of 1994, and through a committee appointed by the selectmen, Article 28 2018, which are contradictory. And, this is the planning board adjustments we needed to have made.
Yeah.
Which are contradictory, and to authorize the town to appoint a capital improvements committee through its board of selectmen in accordance with New Hampshire RSA 674:5. A capital improvements program is an advisory document to guide annual budgeting processes, amongst other things. Do you have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Alright, so let's talk about hearings. We have to have a hearing legally on Article 19, which is the adoption of RSA 79E. And rather than get into a protracted explanation of RSA 79E, does everybody have a copy of what it does?
No, I need it on.
Okay, so I'm gonna give Tim mine. You need to make a copy? Okay. So that you understand, and we'll have a general discussion about this right now. What 79E does, so it's been adopted by the People's Republic of Keene, as well as the town of Winchester that I know of. This is legislation that came out of Concord, designed to help our property poor towns redevelop and re-improve their tax base, which means you have to build better buildings. So, on the other hand, everybody's concern in New Hampshire always is, I don't wanna paint my house because they'll raise my taxes. So, what this is designed to defeat that, I would guess you would say. And it's designed to say, if someone petitions the select board and says, I am buying 123 Happy Street in Troy, and I am going to spend $88,000 renovating a 3-unit apartment building into a 4-unit apartment building, which that's another issue, so don't really confuse that. But I'm gonna take this 3-unit apartment building, which has drug addicts and derelicts and collapsing barns and all that, and I've got a budget to spend of approximately this amount of money, and I'm going to do these things on it. Then the town agrees to hold the assessment steady on it for, is it 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah, for 5 years. So it's not, oh, you now spent $88,000 on the building? Great, we're gonna raise your assessment. So it's an incentive for people to come in and improve the condition of properties. It doesn't mean that the town gets any less money than they're currently getting. It means they're getting the same amount from that property for that 5-year window. At the end of the 5 years, Bob's your uncle, they get to reassess and go to the fair rate. Where is this important? It would be important, like, several good examples. It would be important on a building like the former bank building on Central Square. Somebody's bought that building, they're gonna put some serious money into that building, they would come in and apply under 79E and say, I'm gonna put $58,000 into the building, and here's what we're gonna do. We want to have our taxes held constant for the next 5 years. The people who bought the grocery store on the common, I don't know how much money they put in it, but I'm sure it's over the $15,000 threshold. If we had this in place, they could have applied for it, and their assessment would be held constant, okay? Joel Thompson, where he bought the old Bowers building up on the north end, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars Joel's put into that, but it's a lot, and so he would have been able to hold the old assessment on it. So those are historical things that have occurred. So where does this go going forward? Well, we have the obvious example of Troy Mills. If we're looking for redevelopment in Troy Mills, we should be able to say to somebody, yes, come and apply to us, redevelop our mill. We will happily leave you at the current assessment and do something with it. So that's the basic idea of that. It doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar project like Troy Mills. The threshold is $15,000. It can be simply buying a rundown house on, I don't wanna pick any street, cause everybody's got one, so.
Apartment building on
Yeah.
Monarch Street.
Yeah, apartment building on Monadnock Street, the guy that just bought that one there.
Yep, 32,000.
That'd be a perfect example of it, yep. So that's what 79E does, okay? So we have to have a hearing on that, and I had asked Chrissy to talk to Ben and see if we could have 3 hearings in one night. The budget committee, the 79E, and the administrative assistant one. Because other than the fact that it was put on last year's warrants, we promised voters we would come back with a recommendation and a decision on hiring an administrative assistant. A town administrator or town manager. I can say to you, we haven't budgeted that for a town manager. Going to a town manager requires a change of form of government. So the city of Keene is a town manager-based system. Swansea, which is SB2, is not a town manager-based system. They have a town administrator. Town administrators are more common in towns from our size up. And a lot of research went into this, and that's the recommendation. That's our recommendation, technically. And so we would have a hearing on that and go through the costs and the pros and cons. That's the way that article is written, is based on that. So we would do that and have the hearing. I'm not sure what the notice requirements are, but I assume that they're at least 30 days from town meeting. So we have this weekend, is it this weekend? No.
Next weekend is.
Next weekend, we have the school district meeting.
February 2nd.
And it's up to you guys, because these are gonna be our meetings. So, do you feel it would be better to do these meetings? Well, question 1, do you wanna do them together? Town administrator and 79E, that's the first question.
It'd be easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Take less time, I mean. instead
you're
of
more
doing
likely, I thought you'd be
2
more likely to get a better crowd, really,
Mhm.
if anybody's interested. Dragging them out 6 times versus,
Mhm.
No, I'm for that.
Okay, and then do we wanna do it, what day of the week do you wanna do it on? Do you wanna do it on an off week, on a Thursday? Do you wanna try and do it on a Saturday? My only insight into Saturdays is, when the select board moved town meeting to Saturdays for a couple of years, I don't know if you were here at that time. That was, I know you were here. The lowest attendance ever achieved at Troy town meetings was when they had them on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. Cause everybody in town's busy running around, going to the bank, going to the grocery store, kids got a softball game, whatever, a basketball game at that time of year, so.
We do it during the community breakfast, we get more people brought in, and have some food.
That's a good idea.
No,
That's an idea. That's not.
Sorry, Bob.
Well, no, the only problem with that's a
It would
really good
pull
idea.
people, 'cause they're
But
different
the
buildings.
community breakfast is at the same time as
Deliberative session.
a deliberative session.
Yeah, for the school.
So, I don't know if I should say that now then.
Huh?
I don't know if it's public knowledge yet, so I don't think I should say anything about the breakfast. Did Bob talk to you about that? Okay, never mind, then I won't say anything.
Public knowledge of that.
No, it's not, cause Bob mentioned it in passing about doing something if people were heading to the deliberative session
Nope.
after.
No. No, but he did talk with us about that, we voted no.
So the town breakfast is the same time as it normally is.
Yes,
Yep,
we're doing
probably
breakfast
doing-
first. and
That would have been a brilliant idea, though,
If it wasn't during the deliberative session.
if it
Well,
wasn't
it
during
doesn't
the
start till
deliberative
9.
session.
Breakfast starts at 7, everybody can go to breakfast first.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So,
So,
well, it's gotta be after 6 o'clock at least, if it's during the week,
oh yeah,
just so we can get people to show up, cause they get out of,
yeah,
and I can't even get here. I'm in 5:45, between 5:45 and 6 o'clock, it's kind of pushing it.
Well, so let's look at the calendar for the off week, for one of the off weeks, and Chrissy, if you'd confirm,
Next Thursday will be one of them. That'll be just before,
That's
Yeah.
the 31st.
yeah.
yeah,
Now we need what, 7 days? So
no,
we
you
have-
need 72 hours notice.
Yeah,
Okay,
so if I
so-
put
But
something out.
confirm how many days,
And see if it's
Notice.
available for the community center too.
well, we can do it here, I don't think you're gonna, we can have the hearing here, or the library. But what I'm thinking, Chris, is confirm how many days' notice you need for 79E. And, well, actually, anything that's on the warrant. Ben had this figured out the other night, but I forgot what he calculated. I think we have till February 4th. So we would have to do it next week.
Yeah,
Next
and,
Thursday.
but, the week of 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yep.
In Phoenix.
That's
Well,
the following week.
Yeah.
Well, we would have to do it, that means we would basically have to have a hearing on these things next week.
The 31st.
Yeah.
And we can't use the community center because Project Rad has it, they'll be doing that.
Alright, well, let's do this, let's confirm when we have to have it, and then we'll do an email discussion, and then you can notice it based on that. Okay,
So even if we do it Friday night,
yeah, Friday night.
or
Nobody's gonna show up, it's not a Friday night.
I want to
Next
keep
Friday
that,
night
remember
for
that for
students.
remember that for next year, for having public hearings during the community breakfast.
It's a good idea.
That's a great
It's
idea,
great.
right. It's undeniable, that you have people there and you're
we'll
putting this
feed
out.
you.
We
For
will
a fee.
feed, yeah, no, we could even do that, it's free. Everybody who comes, you get free breakfast.
Out of what budget?
Well, we get a lot of out-of-town people as well for that, so I don't know if that's gonna be an issue.
Look, it's not happening
But
this
it's an
year,
idea.
solve that problem next year, okay?
Sorry, Bob.
Alright. If you guys wanna sign off on these here, the reason the paperwork goes this way is cause they didn't talk
On all
to
of
each
them?
other. So they
On each
just
one?
sign it and leave it.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
fine.
just sign off like I did. We do have informational stuff from the, a bunch of good information from Janet. I'm not sure everything on it's, I'm sure everything Janet did is correct, but I'm not sure some of this is, I'm not sure she wasn't given bad information. So, I haven't had time to ponder this myself completely. But what I'd like to have you do, Chris, is, did you email this to Curtis and Tim?
No, I just got it yesterday when I was
Okay,
at the
if you could make copies of this for both, and then they can take it with them, and they can take a look at it, we can take it up at the next meeting.
Okay.
And also put it in the public posting that goes to the website in the library.
Is that not what was sent today? From Janet?
Janet sent something to you guys today?
Did she send it to you today?
Yeah, she sent a couple.
I haven't, I don't know, so I haven't seen it in my email. I may not
I
have checked.
could be wrong.
It may be.
There was a bunch of emails floating around today.
Yep,
Alright, I'm
It
not
just
signing
says-
off on the tax credit,
right,
so.
and this can go in there.
It just says it requires a public hearing, it doesn't say anything specific.
Well, I understand that, there's the 79E, but there's a rule about things that are gonna be on the,
Well, I was looking up specifically 79E, just to see
oh,
if that would be.
yeah, well,
inclusive
you're gonna
first.
have a public hearing, but if it's gonna be on the warrant, there's so many, you can't just have a public hearing an hour before the vote. You gotta sign all of them.
Writer's strike. That's what the thing didn't see.
Yeah, yeah,
That was
that's
the-
So, I'm guessing they've got these?
No, they don't.
They don't.
Yeah,
No,
I got
just
those.
trying to
You
submit
definitely
them.
got these?
Yeah.
He got some extra stuff from Janet, I don't know.
She
Okay.
dropped them off and
Talk to you. Well, make copies for Tim, make sure everybody's, make Curtis's copies too, just so there's no question about it. And we got a Christmas card from, land surveying company, Wendy, Julie, and Ted and Dave.
They owe me money.
Okay.
You just get here this week.
Well, I guess.
you want me to go through the, I got some extra.
Yeah, go through your stuff, Curtis.
So tomorrow night is movie night, the 25th. We're having breakfast for dinner, $4 per plate. The movie is Christopher Robin.
You told us the
I
movie.
did, just because that's what they said Wednesday. I actually knew what it was.
That's cool.
Next Monday or next Friday.
What does the movie cost?
Christopher Robin.
No, I got that. What does it cost?
Stop saying it,
It's free. The
Curtis.
movie is free,
Oh,
but the popcorn is free. But if you want dinner, it's gonna be breakfast for dinner,
Brenner.
Brenner,
Yeah,
and it's $4. So you can come watch a movie and eat some breakfast.
I like that.
The first is our roller skating in Troy. 6:30 to 9, $6 to rent skates, $4 if you bring your own, must be non-marking, skate at your own risk, and that's at the Troy School. Community breakfast is on the 2nd, February 2nd, at the Samuel Paul Community Center, $8 per person, or per adult, and $4 child, under 12 I think it is, or under. I'm always forgetting one thing.
Dance was rescheduled?
The dance was rescheduled, that we had for the 19th, when was that? The 19th, we canceled it because of the snow we were supposed to get, and the band was actually coming out of Maine and they were getting slammed. So they ended up canceling because they're gonna have to go back and drive it. So, but they rescheduled for March 2nd, which is a Saturday, and we're having a community breakfast that morning. That night, we're having that, the band Fog for that BYOB dance. On February 23rd, 2019, there's a BYOB dance, and we're gonna have the band Bitter Autumn performing on this one. Must be 21 or older to attend, $8 cover charge. You can go on our Facebook, Troy Recreation at Samuel Paul Community Center for more information. It's from 7 to 10 p.m. We're looking to do BYOB dance every month, at least once a month, and if we start getting more people and more
Colin?
interest or calling, and we'll may change it to twice a month. So hope to see everybody there. You'll see the little flyers around, and we're also doing Marlboro School in the new school that they just built a couple years ago. They just called, or we just went and did roller skating with them on
What they want it?
the 18th, and they had 80 people show up to theirs, and it was $10 to rent skates. I think it was $6 if you brought your own. They had a good turnout. The floor is actually really nice. It's got the new tile on it, and it actually held up really well.
Yeah.
I put my skates on and tried it out just because I was kind of curious to see how it would look like and what it felt like. But they had a blast. We had a line out the door or going down the hallway for people waiting to rent skates. And they want us back for the rest of the year so we're gonna be renting
Excellent.
to Marlboro as well.
You don't have another date for that one yet, though?
I do the 15th of February. So we'll be going over there from 5:30, I think, till 7:30 or 8 o'clock, something along that lines. So Marlboro roller skating at the school. But that same night, 15th February, the PTO is having a Valentine's Day dance for the elementary school. So the kids
In Troy?
at Troy School. So it's gonna be some people for the rec department's gonna help out with that as well for the Troy, and the Troy girl, PTOs will be putting a Valentine Day dance for the kids, not for adults, it's for the kids. But if the adults wanna go and hang out and dance, feel free. I do not have a whole lot of information, I'm sure there's gonna be sending out a couple flyers to come home, so. We do have a reptile show coming 23 February. It's the morning of the BYOB dance. That night we're doing the BYOB dance. The reptile show, there is a fee. I honestly don't know where it is off the top of my head. It is on our Facebook page. So, we're busy.
We got roller skating. We got reptiles. We got a BYOB. We got a Valentine's dance. And we got roller skating going on in Marburg.
And breakfast.
And Brenner.
Brenner. And Brenner.
And a Brenner.
So,
Good Lord.
we are very busy, yes.
No one
So-
can say they're not doing anything. Tim, do you have anything for the good of the order? Okay.
Stole us thunder.
I would just encourage everyone to go out and vote at the deliberative session at the high school on Saturday morning, February 2nd. The issue is going to be brought up again of the 50-50 apportionment, and it is critical that voters from Troy go and vote in the affirmative and not let the article be amended. Because the way we got to the 75-25 was amended at the deliberative session several years ago. And it's never been really established if that was even legal, but it is what it is. So, you really should show up and vote. That's how decisions are made in New Hampshire. Okay, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
9:45.
What time is it?
9:45.
Good Lord.
I have to pee.
Something awful.
Can you put this on our website?